started practice, you started labor practice in. So, what was the environment like when you entered into the profession, practicing labor law?
There were several people who were stalwarts in the field. Particularly, labor law is, there were partly lawyers, there were partly trade unionists. We had great trade unionists in those days,
Yes.
of the stature of late Mr. Ambekar, K.T. Sule, who was a communist leader. And several of them, I have brushed shoulders with almost all the top union leaders in Mumbai. And there I was, slip of a boy. I was just 21 when I started my practice. And then appearing against all kinds of people. It used to be fun. I can never resist a challenge, So I used to have long arguments with them, work late into night to score a point on them, look up the latest law, what the Supreme Court has said, what has been done in here, what has been done abroad. Picked up a lot of things that way.
Do you remember any of the judges who you appeared before, initial days of practice?
Oh yes, I do. I distinctly remember two judges. I had a matter in the High Court at one time. In fact, it was my first appearance in court.
Okay.
So I went there. The judge was there against me. The judge asked me all kinds of, in retrospect, I would say thoroughly irrelevant questions. And because I didn't have satisfactory answers, he got angry with me and he dismissed the petition. I was thoroughly disheartened. Then I thought my client would be very angry with me because he had spent a lot of money on the litigation. And I said, this is the end of my legal career. Probably I should go and take up a job somewhere. Then when I stepped out of the courtroom, the client came to me, and I must say I owe it to him. He was very encouraging. He said, sir, of course he spoke in Hindi. He said, sir, this judge did not understand the points that you were making. I'm sure some other judge in appeal will understand it. Let's promptly file an appeal. I couldn't believe my ears. I said, here is somebody who is encouraging a junior. Let's see. So I prepared an appeal, filed an appeal, and fortunately for me, the appellate judge was more responsive, more receptive. He appreciated the points, gave me a long rope, and then he held in my favor on all the points, and I succeeded. So my confidence in myself came back. So that was one. The other was, I had a case of a fellow, a stenographer in one of the book publishing companies. Poor man came crying to me one day. I was still in my late 20s at that time. He came to me and said, I have two children in school. My job has been suddenly summarily terminated. Please do something for me. So I filed a petition for him. And that petition was opposed by 4 senior-most counsel, including, I don't want to name them. Some of them have been subsequently attorney generals and solicitor generals in this country. They were all from Bombay. And then 2 other very senior lawyers. And here I was, all young boy trying to fight against this battle. But fortunately, the judge again was very sympathetic and, very fair-minded judge. So he heard me out patiently, then take them off one by one, and again held in my favor. So I said, yes, it's possible in this legal world to succeed even against established seniors. As long as you have a cause that is just and you have ability to put across your point in an intelligible manner.
Is that something that you see happening even today, sir? Or has it changed?
Again, it depends on the judge. In fact, when I was a judge, I used to be very patient with the juniors, and my impatience came to surface when I had a senior bumbling and bungling in my court, because seniors get paid a lot of money. They're expected to do their homework. Most of them don't do it. It's only the ones who do it who succeed. The ones who don't do it, and some of them just try bullying tactics with the judge. Such things didn't work with me. But if a junior was there, I would tell them. In fact, I used to tell the juniors and say, if you know the law, you tell me the law, I'll tell you what the facts of your case are. If you know the facts, you recite the facts, I'll tell you what the law is. if you don't know either, just stand up and be patient. I'll explain both to you. And if there is a case in your favor, I'll hold in your favor. Otherwise, call your senior. I'll hear him and then hold against you.
Which is not something that we see at all.
Yes, that is the most. This is what happens with the juniors get discouraged.
Absolutely.
This is what is this is absolutely
Intimidating to be.
yeah, absolutely. Sometimes what happens is judges also become impatient because there is heavy workload. They don't have time to do all this. Sometimes I used to tell them that this is not a classroom, this is a courtroom. I cannot sit and teach you. I'll give you time, go out and learn for yourself and come back. That's the way it works, the system works.
When you joined the profession, did you join under somebody or did you just start off on your
My
own?
father was there. No?
So you joined.
I joined with him.
Okay, the same chamber and continued practice.
He was my senior.
So would you say that cases were easy? Came
Oh
easy to you
no,
because
oh
of
no.
the
My
not
father
at all?
did one thing which I won't forget him, forgive him for. One suddenly day he wakes up one day and says, "Hey, I decided to retire. I'm not going to court from tomorrow." And he was handling the most complex of cases. And he said, "I don't care. You go and argue it if you want. Otherwise, tell the client to go and engage someone else." And that was then again a challenge. So I had to break my head, fight with the other side, fight with the judge. Somehow it was like teaching a child to swim by just dumping him in the lake. But then if the child is smart, it swims, otherwise it sinks.
Yes.
So maybe not as much as my smartness, but my good fortune that I managed to stay afloat.